I'm here giving, for Halloween ham. This is the second attempt. I had a little song beforehand, but I had to let that mother go because of technical difficulties. Scott has been gracious enough to come in and join me. Now,
Uh,
Me and Scott started. I don't want to say we started on the wrong foot, but we got on the wrong foot when I mentioned South African white farmers, and he told me to shut the fuck up. Joe told me to as well, to be fair, and then Scott kind of joined in, and I'm a little bit on the passionate side on that because I think it's rather cruel for people to ignore such atrocities, just as I think it's cruel for people to ignore the British girls that are raped in Rotherham, England, by Muslim men. I think it is a cruel thing to ignore, and I think that primarily the left and even people who side with the left ignore this issue because of some form of social justice or guilt. Scott, am I wrong in thinking at where I'm coming from on this, or am I correct?
Excuse me. First off, good evening, Brian. Happy Halloween. Happy Halloween.
Well,
No, you're not wrong to express outrage at injustice committed to people. You're not. Just make sure to keep it balanced with the fact that other injustices have been inflicted on other people just as much. So
does being
it
a
ain't
rape
so special.
does being a rape victim give someone who's been unjustly raped, does that give that person the right to rape the innocent?
No, what? No.
Well, you're kind of like you're down. Sound like you're downplaying the issue.
Downplaying the issue of what? The South African farmer thing? No, it's terrible that they're being evicted from their land, but
They're also being brutally
there
murdered.
there's also so few of them. There are also fucking colonizers that went into a land that they didn't belong to, and now comeuppance is being paid.
Oh,
So some might say, Brian.
so to a
So there's
degree,
always two sides to every story.
okay, what society did not practice the conquest ethic? Isn't that part of human nature?
It's a terrible part of human nature. It's not something to be lauded or celebrated, Brian.
Not
But
celebrating it.
yes, it exists.
Okay.
Yeah, people want to fucking dominate other people and take their stuff and sometimes inflict harm on them. Okay, that's natural.
There we
Fair
go.
enough. That
Oh,
doesn't make it good. That
it,
doesn't make it right. That
I
doesn't make it something that we should promote worldwide systematically, like systematic
what do
racism.
you do after it's been done? And when the whites leave, you know what happened in Zimbabwe?
Oh, you mean Rhodesia?
You
Dennis, come on the show. We need your help.
no,
Send Dennis a link. Yep.
you sent him a link, but continue on. Go ahead. Yeah, what happened in Rhodesia, now called Zimbabwe?
Basically, the British installed white government was ousted for
Did they
being.
murder white farmers, and did the country sink into?
Yes, did white people murder a ton of black people in Africa? Yes. This tit for tat mentality, Brian. I think it's Brian. I think it gets you lost in the weeds a little bit.
It does not.
I'm not.
There is no losing in the weeds. There, I'm just look. The world. Listen, the world is what it is. You should be. You should remember the past, but there's a difference between remembering the past and living in it. And the kind of restorative justice that some governments have implemented, in my opinion, are counterproductive and do more harm than good. I believe there is strong evidence for that. Could be wrong, but I believe there's very strong evidence for that kind of thinking. An envy type of thinking, an envy type of government can be rather dangerous and rather bad.
Well, Brian, everyone's fucking envious. I think that's way too broad of a term to apply to any sort of logical discussion. Can I ask you a serious question, though? I'm not being a dick.
Okay.
What time is it over there? It's like 8 o'clock?
8 o'clock.
How many trick-or-treaters you had, man?
None. Zero.
Good.
Oh, really?
No, because he lives in an apartment building and he just leaves a big basket of candy with the concierge. And the kids just pick up a handful, and that's all.
Oh, well,
That's
that
yeah.
works too, doesn't it?
That's the way it works. That's the way it works in the big city.
It's called the conquest ethic of candy.
Hey, I gotta ask you something.
See, Brian,
I gotta
that's
ask.
fucking
I gotta.
funny.
I gotta ask Brian.
Where's this shit
Brian
from?
Go ahead, Denny Pooh.
All right, Brian.
Yeah.
Did the blacks have white slaves?
I'm not.
I've heard about
think
this.
In some cases, that might be true, but for the most part, I don't think
Yeah.
so.
Okay. Look it up. It's history. Yes.
Yeah, I believe they did. Yeah, I believe that,
Yes.
or at least the Arabs had white slaves, but
Also, the Ottomans
Yeah, the
during their heyday enslaved
Oh,
all sorts of
they-
people from the Mediterranean basin, which would include people that Brian would consider white.
Well, you can
Yeah.
call them brownies. You could. Sorry. Was that?
We can call them that, but then we're gonna be unacceptable to wider society. You all need to stop
okay.
this fucking divisive,
did the
gross
Egyptians-
language. Did the
did the
Egyptians
Egyptians
practice
use slaves?
slavery? Yes,
Yeah. Yes, they use slaves.
but
to
not,
build
but not to build
Uh,
their great constructions. Those were mostly freedmen.
Well, Greeks
They were
had
freedmen.
slaves.
They were not slaves. Yes, the Greeks were.
They were
a slave
olives.
Society.
They
yes.
were olives. They were olives, and
Uh.
then they had, if you want to call them that, and then they had the whiteys. Okay, if you want to call them that, building their roads and shit.
Yo, race is a relatively recent construct. People looked at each other more as the in or out group thing.
Oh, yeah, they just used people.
Before they even considered skin color.
Right? I know. They just use people, use them, right, for their abilities and conquer and use, right? Use them as slaves, right? That's what people do. And it doesn't matter what color you are. They didn't care. It's like a black man sees a white man, and the white man doesn't know where he is. Sure, the black man's gonna take the white man and say, "Hey, I'll feed you. Build me a wall."
I'll feed you, build me a wall.
I don't agree with that assessment at all. But
Yeah,
oh,
okay.
you don't.
I know you wouldn't. I know you wouldn't.
no, I don't agree with that assessment. But that's fine.
White lives matter.
There we go. That's always great as well.
Yeah, white lives matter. That's all I know.
Scott, what's the hardest manual labor you've ever done? Have you ever dug in a ditch before or anything like that?
I'm sorry, repeat that.
What's the hardest what's the most manual labor you've ever done? Have you ever done construction?
No. Before you get into this loaded question bullshit, Brian, you tell
Hey,
me.
can I answer? Can I answer the?
What's the hardest
Can I answer
labor
the question?
you ever motherfucking done?
Yeah. Can I answer the question?
Go ahead.
Can I answer that?
Go ahead, Denny.
Yeah, I was a landscaper. All right, for over 10 years, and yeah, I've dug a lot of ditches, a lot of trenches, and yeah, and I've worked in muck, in rain, in torment, in trouble. Oh no, it's Halloween. Yeah, I've toiled and troubled in the harshness of the environment that Mother Earth
It's murder.
bestowed upon me.
And I'm going to be honest here. I was not the man that my fellow workers, the fellow Latino workers were. They could work donuts around me, And I think back on
You work
those.
at a bakery?
I wish.
That was the hardest job you did, is a bakery?
No, I
And you
worked
had
in a,
Latinos
I worked
making
in a,
donuts
in
around
a
you?
crew, and
What?
I worked with a construction cleanup crew, and I've dug and that stuff, like rock masonry and stuff. That stuff is really freaking hard.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
yeah.
try landscape. Try landscape.
Oh no, I've done that too. That's not easy, man. But you know what? Thinking back, I wish I would have tested myself more. And I think I want to do it again. Test myself a little bit more.
Good. It's
If
good
I,
exercise.
yeah, it is. It
It's
is good.
good. It is good exercise. I get paid to work out. Like basically, I'm
Yeah,
going to the gym every day.
yeah.
Right. Slinging brick and a shovel and barrows, whatever. Yeah, gravel.
Now, Scott, do you smoke cigarettes?
I used to, sir. I do not at the moment. No.
That's good.
Oh, congratulations.
Don't,
Congratulations.
don't congratulate me. I reserve the right to start smoking Marlboros at any time because.
Yeah. Now, Dennis, do you still smoke? Are you still a smoker?
Of course I am. My respirologist says, Dennis, that's not good for you. Here's your asthma medicine. I say, yeah, no, thank you.
Lord. Good Lord, that sounds horrible.
I
Yeah. Snooky
excuse
Pop.
me.
Boo boo. You need to be burped?
I burped myself, my brother. But thank
Let me ask
man, Brian. I
need to
I
snort.
just want you
Can
to
I snort?
hold me and burp me gently. That
There we
would
go.
be
That
very
sounds
nice.
like a plan. You better pay me a lot of money. Want to take your family fortune away from you? I would. Now, what is the first? Okay, we'll start with Scott.
What?
Scott, what is the first Halloween costume that you remember wearing? Don't tell me you were a Jehovah's Witness growing up. That
Oh.
sucks. Go ahead, Scott.
I wish I could come up with something funny because no, I'm not a fucking Jehovah's.
Give me
The
this.
first one, shut. Can you keep your dick sucker shut for a second? Ghostbusters was the first one that I have an active memory of. I dressed up as a Ghostbuster. There you go.
Okay.
Oh.
All right, Dennis. You got to be able to beat that kind of nerd shit. Give me a break. What were you? What was your first Halloween costume?
Well, my mother back in the day, she used to get patterns, and she used to make costumes for us kids. And I was a cheetah. I was a little cat. I was a cheetah.
Meow meow. Meow meow.
I was.
Let
I
me
did
just
go
say,
out as I went out as a streaker one year, and I wore my speedos underneath, right? And I put googly eyes on my my nether region. So
How
when I
old were you?
flash, then when I did my streaker outfit,
yeah,
oh, I was 17, I think 18,
you're like a
17,
little
16. I
wild
think it
little
was 16.
bastard. You were
Oh
probably
yeah, I went to a Halloween party right after that. Oh yeah, man. But anyway, the old ladies, I went for trick or treating, and they said,
I knew
"Yeah,
a
I'll
guy
give you a treat if you show me."
Yeah.
What?
I knew a guy who went to school, like it was an all boys school in Canada, and he had to wear like a blazer. You didn't go to that kind of school, did you, Dad?
No.
Was it kind of like the Degrassi Junior High? Was it kind of like that experience?
The school I went to?
Yeah.
Yeah, we were all separated like most high schools. We had the discoers in one corner of the school that hang out. We had the athletes, right, athletics. We had the stoners and rockers, smokers that hang out in one part of, and then we had the geeks that hang out. Everybody had their own clique, right?
That's true. That's
So-
true. So my first costume, I was Casper. I was 5 years old, and I was
Aw.
Casper the Friendly Ghost. Moo moo.
Aw,
Yeah.
that's cute.
Ooh. Yeah, and it
That's
sure
an
is.
expensive costume. Your mom
wanna
put a lot of effort into that. Like she had to waste a whole bed sheet.
No, actually, no. I was like one of those plastic masks you buy,
Oh.
and yeah. But okay. So I've been getting into a few wars on Twitter. I don't know if Scott, if you noticed that, but
Yeah, I noticed that, Brian. You just like to argue with people and just use ad hominem attacks. You use the same phrasing every time. But what deeper do you
What?
want to explore?
What kind of attention are you attracting, Brian? What kind of attention are you attracting?
you know what? I'm getting a lot of people who agree with me, and I'm trying not.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Listen to me, Scott. Shushy.
Uh,
Yeah, I'm getting a lot of
what
people.
what are you advocating? What are you advocating, Brian?
I am advocating reality,
What
uh,
kind?
truth.
Just your
Yeah, go ahead,
what kind
Snooki.
of truth? What kind of truth? Like what are you
Growth.
advocating?
Growth.
Mostly that minorities are in the wrong and that white people are okay.
Give me a
I
break.
did.
Fuck
Yeah.
you. You scumbag. I'll smack you in the fucking mouth.
No, I asked you a straightforward question, Brian. What are you
Brian,
advocating for?
all
And what
people
kind
have
of
to
flack are you
do is
getting?
follow your Twitter feed, you idiot, and they would see that it's the truth. So
No, give me a break.
I don't do
You're
Twitter.
full of
I don't
shit,
do Twitter,
Scott.
so
You're full of bunky dung.
I am full of dung, but
bet
you
you
know
are.
your dung has a
You
particular
fuckface. That's not
nasty
what I
scent.
thought. I was just going in saying, listen, I believe that my ultimate thing, I believe that there is pain. The ultimate growth is through fucking pain.
But Brian, you're such a whiny bitch that
I
rings so
know.
hollow.
Listen to me,
You
Scott.
sound like a bitch.
What? Why are you such a
Oh.
whiny bitch, Brian? Brian, why are you whining? Why are you a whiny bitch?
Can I say this? You
Yeah.
motherfucker! It takes one to know one. You are the whiniest bitch that I've ever. When you talk, you
Look.
sound like you're crying, Scott, like a boo-hoo baby. And Dennis, I'm just being honest here.
Okay.
A boo-hoo fucking baby.
Yeah.
A whiny baby boy.
Well,
And this
for
is
someone
good
who's
practice.
stoic, for someone who is stoic as yourself, Brian, I know you have issues in that regard holding that.
I'm not being
You
stoked
seem a little
today.
bit
I'm being stoked today, Scotty.
emotional.
Guinea poo.
You seem a little emotional right now.
You know what? I'm taking off the vow. The stoic cloth, and I'm just being me.
Okay, good.
Me. Double.
No, he's being the
Oh, okay.
person that his dad abused
Ego.
him into
Oh,
being.
give me a
so-
break.
All right, wait.
Yeah.
Just a minute. Your ego. So your ego is taking over again.
Yes.
Your ego
Yeah.
is totally taking over.
Maybe at this
Oh
point,
no.
yes, maybe that might be true. I don't know. I'm going to.
No, it has, man.
Listen to me.
Because stoic people control their ego. They control their ego and their emotions. They control their emotions.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah,
Stoic.
neither me nor Dennis went so extreme on you, and now you're acting like
You
Foolish,
interrupted.
man.
You listen to me, you schmucky pox. You fucking interrupted me. Okay.
Okay. Relax. Relax.
You
Relax.
listen to me. Listen to me.
He's letting his ego out.
Listen to me. You're interrupting. Listen to me. I'm not
Yeah.
a turn the other cheek
Okay.
person. I'm not turning
Okay.
the other.
Relax.
I've
Breathe.
run out of cheeks. I've run out of cheeks. Go ahead.
Happy Halloween.
Oh, happy.
Did you dress
Happy Halloween. All right, are we gonna wrap this up or what?
Let's
Yeah.
wrap this.
Did you
We're
dress
not
up?
going
Let me
anywhere.
tell you something. Let's wrap this motherfucker up and set it on
Yeah.
fire. Okay.
Okay.
Scott,
Uh,
any last words? Any red wave in November? Any good news coming through you?
Honest to God, last words. Brian, thank you for real having me on your show. We do have fun. I do like you, man. I do like talking with you. There's the red wave in November is a distinct possibility. So, and as for that,
What do you think of
just
Elon?
abuse yourself, abuse others, do drugs, and destroy the society.
There we go. By
do
the way,
drugs and drink beer.
Scotty Poo.
And-
Scotty Poo. Okay,
And
Scotty Poo.
Trudeau is a fucking asshole.
Go boys, for real. I'll Talk to you later.
Scotty Boo. Ah, fucking Scott left. All right. You know what, Dennis? Do you have a Twitter?
No, I don't. I do not do Twitter. Thank you.
Oh, give me a break. All right. Hey guys.
Well, I do. Well, I do have an account, but I don't use it. So, all right. Peace out.
Okay. Thank you very much. Hey, fight, resist, or flee the situation. And when you resist, build a fortress so those that try to harm you will have hell to pay. Thank you so much for listening. Gobble, gobble. Happy Halloween.